Yeah, this video is a little different than what I normally do. It does involve live good, but it's also living on the edge, that's for sure. And sometimes living on the seat of your pants, just living full throttle. And sometimes you boldly go where no man or woman would probably ever want to go. And I'm talking about the Titan, that somewhat man made submersible. I can't really call it a submarine because it didn't have an engine that scooted that thing through the water. But anyway, I think everyone around the world heard about this submersible going down to visit the Titanic. I guess it had been down several times, and with I can't remember if it's carbon fiber mixed with titanium and aluminum, but almost every expert said that no matter what, it was bound to crack and probably implode, especially after repeated dives. But anyway, I'm a massive Lego builder. I do custom, I do kits, I do MOC, which is my own creation, and that's what I just built right now. And I'm holding this up, and hopefully you can see it on my webcam. I don't know if it's focusing or not because sometimes with my background, but you guys can kind of get the gist. But what I'll do is I'll show you a picture. All right, here we go. Well, let me move my face over here. This is the Titanic I built, and I've got like John Belushi from Animal House, Dale Earnhardt Jr. I even got Peg Bundy from Married with Children dolls. But this is the big 10,000 piece Titanic that I built. And that's my little hairy guy. I have a nice lady that builds me all these little hairy dudes playing drums and guitar. So if you're wondering, this is not like a hairy little guy. This is a doll. I'll have to show you them on another video. They're pretty cool. But anyway, if you look right here, that's where I put it. So I thought, in my Lego world, they made it, the five. And they went all around the ship and had a good time, and they boldly went where they wanted to go. And unfortunately, they only got about an hour and a half down, and bad things happened. So, but that's what it looks like. So what I did is I just did the best I could to emulate. I put little side things like the camera. I've got a little nose cone coming. I didn't have a dark gray one, but I have a piece that I'm going to put in here once it comes. What's funny is I paid 25 cents for it, but it was $5 for shipping because I had to get it out of Germany. So the piece is, I'm not kidding you, the piece was 25 cents, but shipping was $5. So for $5.25, I got a tiny little nose cone that's going to look even more real. But there it is. So that's my version. You can kind of see it had like a gray band right here. So I used a piece right there to kind of do it. And then it had these little antennas that I had. And you can see there's remote control cameras. And there's kind of I don't know what that is. Probably some type of sonar or communication device. But God, it was so simple, wasn't it, guys? I mean, they had like cameras. And, but it had like a remote control from a Nintendo type game. And it had like 96 hours of oxygen. But yeah, if you had to go a little poopy, you just kind of went, or I think you went back here. I think there was enough room where you could squat. And hopefully, I think before you went down, you definitely didn't eat. You probably just drank like protein shakes. That way, worst case scenario, you only had to go pee. But, they were only going to go down a couple hours, hang out a couple hours, and go back. So basically, it's like an 8-hour tour. But there we go. I'm just a big Lego fan. And I felt bad. I know there's a lot of people making jokes, and it's easy to say would've, could've when it comes to somewhat backyard, man-made, human-made contraptions. But I'll tell you, man, when I saw how that thing was built, there's no way I would have went down. I've got a buddy, Mike Marvin. He wrote and produced Hot Dog the movie, The Wraith with Charlie Sheen, and some other just great movies that I just absolutely love. And he's all, man, if they give me 10 million to document the dive in that thing, he goes, I wouldn't have done it. And I don't think I would have either. Even for 10 million, after looking at the handmade contraption, it's just, isn't it wild? Because two people on there, not that money is the end all be all, but his son was with him too. But, there was two billionaires. The CEO, he trusted it. And one guy had been down to Titanic 37 times. They called him Mr. Titanic, I think, or whatever. But yeah, 250 grand. But that included rented a massive boat. You had labor, fuel. It wasn't like you just had a boat that had this thing on the back of it and said, okay, drop us in. We'll give you 50 grand. And then the CEO keeps, $1 million. When I saw just how much it took just to, build it, of course, and you want to get your money back. But by the time you get a massive ship, drop it in, they had 24 people, I think, on the ship. Because when they got back, I think they mentioned 24 people that had to be questioned about the mess. But yeah, 250 grand. Would you go down for $1 million? I don't think I would. I mean, money is so amazing, isn't it? Doesn't it just seem like, okay, I'll do it? Because if you're in LiveGood, you obviously are doing this for hopefully money and hopefully just for a good experience and maybe changing some people's lives in your downline, changing your kids' lives, your wife, or maybe you're just by yourself and you just, man, you want to get out of the shit job that you have. Or there's just, when you think about money and having an insane amount, but there was two billionaires on that Titan and somehow they figured life out. One guy had been to the North Pole, the South Pole. I think that he went similar to the Mariana Trench, which is amazing because if you look at the Titanic, it's 2.5 miles down. Well, the Mariana Trench, where James Cameron, who filmed and wrote and produced the Titanic, he built a sub with professionals and he went down 7 miles. But the first guy, Don Nash, 1960, 70 years ago, somehow he figured out how to design something that went down 38,000 feet, I think it is. You can look it up. Just look on YouTube. But how do they do this? How can they go from like a car in the 20s, 10s in the 20s? How do they build Hoover Dam in the 30s? In the 40s and 50s, okay, they're getting into some cool stuff. Televisions coming in, toilet paper, chocolate chip cookies, a bunch of airplanes. Cars are getting a little better. And then by the 60s, man, we're going, all right, Sputnik's up there. Okay, we're going to the moon. And then they do and come back. Like, what the hell? But I just can't believe by 1960, Elvis is shaking his ass, singing Hound Dog, and some guy's going, I think the bottom of the ocean is about 7-8 miles down. And the pressure is so severe that it's like 5 Eiffel Towers smashing your foot. So imagine imploding. It just goes, it's like, just picture a metal banana, and that thing, they said it in faster than a second when it collapses, that violent of pressure. But they said it's like a bomb because when the pressure goes in, it needs to go out. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is just, it's chilling, isn't it? I mean, normally I don't make videos like this about, here I make a Lego, just a little tribute to Titan. And then I can't help it. I keep thinking, what would I do for money? I would almost go to the moon. I would rather go up in a Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, one of those rockets and float around up there for a little while. I think I have more guts to go in a massive rocket up in space than I do going down 2.5 miles in darkness. But it's pretty chilling anyway. I just wanted to make a video about what if someone gave you a pile of money, 10 million bucks, would you go down in the darkness and just hang out with the Titanic for a little while and kind of let it go? I think they need to stop. I wish there was some type of law, but you can't really stop anybody in the middle of the ocean that wants to go 2.5 miles down. But out of respect, I think after 100 years, everyone has been there enough. There's been plenty of people that have salvaged and have taken every darn thing out of that ship and either kept it or it's on a museum or a display somewhere. But obviously, it needs to be left alone. It's a nice grave site to 1,200 and some odd people that obviously paid with their life on that night. What was it, 1912, I think it was? So All right. Well, anyway, here's my tribute. All right. It took me about a half hour to kind of look at the real sub and come up with my own version. But it's kind of fun. I love Lego. I'm a big fan. And someone who invented it, they dared to dream. And boy, I'm sure excited that they did, because without Lego, oh man, I'd be kind of bummed out. And I'm a big fan. So, okay, guys, if you're in LiveGood, awesome. If not, just go to joincorey.com. It's below the video. And that's it. It's kind of a strange little video this time. But anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you next video. Bye.